Lewis Hamilton dropped that infamous phrase, "Is it because I'm black?" He received letters of abuse and worse, and I received letters of abuse and worse. I'm a writer who's ended up on television. There was a gun in the car.
Oh, what a shot.
Oh wow. Right, I haven't hit a golf ball for about 20 years.
Nice, great shot.
Sorry, birds.
Lee, I want to take you back to the beginning.
Yeah.
What originally got you into sports journalism?
Well, my father was quite a well-known sports journalist.
Bob.
I don't know why I'm talking about him in the past tense. He's still on the go. In fact, he's probably on a golf course as we speak. And he was really a rugby journalist and covered other sports as well. And then one day, one of the journalists who covered Formula One had been unwell. And my dad got sent very late on, I think it was to the Mexican Grand Prix around about 1990. And he said he was going for one race, and he retired about 4 years ago, having done just about every race since then. And I was just the annoying child who turned up everywhere, mostly to get days off school or not to go to brownies or Sunday school. So I'd covered most major sports events or attended them.
So you were following him around?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was incredible, in hindsight, that A, he was able to take me, but also he wanted to take me. And it gave me such an incredible grounding. I used to get a Monday morning off school. I'd go into the local newspaper and I would have an equestrian column, Horsing Around with Lee McKenzie, and I would write up the rugby. Now, on the Saturday afternoon, I would have gone to the match. This is when I was 15. I would have done the previews, interviewed all the players, do a full rugby report, and some reason my school would let me off on a Monday morning to be able to do that and help my career. So, I mean, that's incredible. I'm always very honest and say that I'm a writer who's ended up on television. I think that's quite important. I'm a journalist who loves sport, and I've just happened to end up on television. That was never the goal.
Was it not? Wow, interesting.
Never the goal. No, even the thought of it makes me feel slightly unwell. If someone had said to me as a kid, "You're going to be on TV," I just was not that kind of kid. It worked out that way, but I still love the writing. I write my own scripts, I write columns, I love that kind of thing. I think it's really important to be able to do that and to understand the importance of journalism, because you, especially in Formula One, you've got your badge and you beep in and you're on the inside. But to actually be able to do good interviews, you've got to be slightly on the outside looking in. Just keep that distance ever so slightly, and that's where you get the respect. So the standing that I had in news journalism, everything that I went through and learned about, to be a good sports journalist, you have to be a good journalist, and that's what it comes down to. Impressive.
Not too bad.
Those birds went wild, they thought it was me. Oh.
Great shot.
Okay, I just didn't know where
That was good. That was a really good shot.
Thank you.
Lee, everyone remembers their first. Can you remember the first Grand Prix weekend that you worked?
Yes, the first proper weekend that I actually worked was the showdown in Brazil 2008, Felipe Massa and Lewis Hamilton. David Coulthard retiring and Sebastian Vettel being promoted to his seat. For reasons that still baffle me, his family weren't going out to Brazil, so he asked my father to stand beside his car wearing his kilt. And I actually had been held, a gun had been put into the window of the car by a policeman, so not quite held at gunpoint, but basically had a very, very stressful Thursday on the way to the track. So a lot had happened. So I have never been more relieved just to get to race day, get my father out the way on the grid. DC goes out almost instantly in that race, and about however many, 50 odd laps later, Felipe Massa thinks he's won his first ever championship, only to find out that Lewis Hamilton has won the championship. I came away thinking, it cannot be like this every weekend, surely. For me, F1 was the natural progression, so I didn't feel I was coming in cold to it because I knew so many of the people,
right.
Which was really special.
But how do you get held at gunpoint? What happens there? How does that happen?
Crofty and I encouraged Jason to do a U-turn illegally. We didn't know. and we got properly pulled over, and before we knew it, there was police everywhere surrounded the car, and we were all wearing BBC kit, so we thought, BBC, we're safe. There was a gun in the car, we had to follow this man, and we kept thinking, well, you know, he can't be that important. Surely he'll get to the start of the gates at the racetrack and we can go in because we've got a car park pass. And we started getting nervous because people started coming out almost off the streets and like waving to him, and we were like, this guy seems quite famous. And then we got to the racetrack and people were like moving and just waving him through, and we were like, oh God, this is awful. And on the Sunday before the race, I met him on the grid. So he was a dignitary on the grid. He turned out to be the Sao Paulo chief of police.
Right, and
who
that
just
was the guy.
happened to see us doing an illegal U-turn on the road.
And so he was the one that held the gun?
Yeah, he's the one that stuck the gun in the window.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh, good try. Nice. Oh, what a shot.
That was a good sound.
That was a really good shot.
Okay.
You've been working in journalism since you were 15 years old,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What was your aha moment, I made it?
Well, I kind of hope I've not had it yet, but
Right.
there are certain things that come around, and you have big moment interviews, and when they go well, it's just so special. A lot of people know me from Sebastian Vettel interviews because they were generally chaotic.
Yeah, he was always quite cheeky, wasn't he?
He was always very, very cheeky. But there was also the interview I did in Monaco when Lewis Hamilton dropped that infamous phrase, "Is it 'cause I'm black?" Because he'd been through the stewards so many times. And in that moment, we're live on BBC, and do you stop him? Do you save him from himself? Or do you keep going as a journalist? And I kept going, and he received letters of abuse and worse, and I received letters of abuse and worse because Lewis fans thought that I'd stitched him up, and a lot of other people who were just against him thought he was disrespectful. So that was a very stressful day. But you know, you come out of these things, and if you're still working, then it's a good sign. I wouldn't have done it any differently.
Great shot.
Oh.
That was good, though.
Goodness.
That was really good.
Right, okay, I'm getting in the swing of this quite literally now.
This golf thing, I'm starting
This
to...
golf thing's back.
Lee, I'm going to do some quick fire questions.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your mind, just blurt it out. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Favourite F1 driver to interview?
Sebastian Vettel.
Go-to karaoke song?
Madonna, Hanky Panky.
Okay, I won't ask anything else after that.
There's good actions.
Dinner or drinks for first date?
Dinner. Yeah, dinner.
If you weren't a journalist, what would you be?
I probably would do something involving horses, have an equestrian yard or something like that.
One word to describe Sebastian Vettel.
Cheeky.
What's your most embarrassing moment on live TV?
When I was reading the news, the lights in the studio exploded, and your instant reaction is to swear, but it was just like a proper explosion of bulbs that happened.
Biggest ick?
Just loud, drunk men.
Fair enough.
They're not three separate things. It's loud, drunk men.
That's very fair. If you could have dinner with any four celebrities, dead or alive, who would it be?
Okay, I am going to say Robert Burns, the Scottish poet. David Coulthard, the Scottish poet. My great friend Doddy Weir was wonderful. So far, there's a lot of Scottish men at this party. Let's throw in Claire Balding to the mix, because she is great fun at a party, and she would have no interest in these fabulous Scottish men. Which
driver on the current grid would make the best TV presenter?
Lando's got a lot of personality. I think Alex Albon would be very good.
He would be very good. Very calm.
Would be great. Yeah, he's intelligent, quick-witted, looks good, calm. Yeah, I'm going to say Alex. Oh, well done. It worked, but it wasn't very stylish.
Oh, good try.
Too gentle, no one ever said.
Said no one ever.
Who said it's a good walk ruined? Was that Oscar Wilde?
I think so. Motorsports has long been considered quite a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
That's starting to change now. How have you found navigating your own path in the sport as a female journalist?
I must be honest, I've never had a problem. I think sometimes people are disappointed that's the answer, which I think is wrong. Maybe it's because when I started off, I was always seen as Bob's daughter.
Right.
And I know other people might have had more issues, but I can honestly say for me, I've never had an issue. What I do find strange is, I once put a photo up of the plane, and my girlfriends wrote back saying, wow, there's like you and 250 white guys on a flight. And I was like, is there? And I looked and I was like, why did I not notice that? But when you're in it, it's all you know. And everyone, I must say, is very kind, almost protective. So I've been very, very fortunate. And as you say, things are changing. And I think that's great. Well done.
With the pressure, now I get to film yours. Good shot.
Oh.
How much prep goes into a weekend prior to working it? Call it a race weekend.
Well, the good thing about Formula One and the bad thing about Formula One is there are so many races now. So it is relentless, but you inherit knowledge. You inherit knowledge as the season goes on. So if you're at them or you're watching them, you remember what's happened. And I always have notes of, I did it yesterday after Australia, who qualified where, who finished where, the reasons why, and some facts. I do that for every race. There is an awful lot of prep that goes on, and you work out, the longer you do this job, you work out exactly what you need and what you don't need. I mean, at the beginning, I was giving up my life, just prep all the time. And prep isn't just what you learn, it's also, you watch everything, you consume everything. And you find out that even your weekend off isn't a weekend off because you watch 3 rugby matches or you watch the French Open tennis before Wimbledon, and before you know it, you've not seen daylight for months.
That was my next question. I was like, are you actually in your off time, completely unrelated, watching sports? Do you actually really enjoy sitting at home, not with a notebook out or something, and just watching a rugby match or watching a football match or something?
Yeah, I mean, the ones that I would watch in my time off would be anything equestrian, horse racing and rugby. I mean, there's not an awful lot of motorsport to watch in the winter. But yeah, it's something that I enjoy doing. Ooh, that's good.
Since Drive to Survive, there's been a massive influx of young girls that are getting into motorsport. What advice do you have for those young girls that could only dream of being in your position?
Well, I would say to them, and I actually have this conversation a lot with people, probably about 4 or 5 times a week. A lot of people get in touch with me and say, I want to be on television, or I want to be in Formula One. And I always ask them why. If they just want to meet Charles Leclerc, that's not a career.
Yeah, fair point.
I mean, he's lovely, but I would say to them, like, work out what it is you want to do. Do you want to be a journalist? Do you want to be in PR? Find a skill, because you've got to have a reason to be there. And Formula One particularly attracts the best people, as you said earlier on, and just wanting to meet racing drivers isn't enough. So be good, but have a real desire for the job that you want to do. And if it's just to be part of something, then that's also possible. There's a lot of different jobs in Formula One, but if you really want to do a job like I do, then study it, be a journalist, learn the craft. It is a craft, and then that transfers between radio and television and written. So yeah, it's probably better than it ever has been, and I would encourage everyone to embrace those forms.
Great putt. Inside
Wrong direction, but good distance.
Oh, a bit soft.
Damn.
Ooh. Hey, nice.
My ball is covered in mud, branches and bird feathers.
Lee, Thank you so much. I
was a
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. It's been really good.
I can feel a new sport hobby coming on. Not quite a career, but you know.
Guys, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, all of those things. Be on the lookout for the next guest, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Thank you.